With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertainers.
Breaks through a couple tackles, making people miss. Touchdown! Now play action, fires over the middle, pass it is gone. Touchdown, Deer Park! Give it to him out of the backfield. Touchdown, Deer Park! It is pink out night here in late October at Hampshire Stadium. Mason Pratt here alongside Shane Creel. And the Buccaneers of Brazoswood have made the long trip up 288 here to Hampshire Stadium. Deer Park riding a 5-game winning streak, sitting at 5-2 as they play host to the Buccaneers of Brazoswood. More importantly, though, Deer Park 4-0 in district, tied for first along with Dickinson, both undefeated in district play, hosting a Buccaneers team still mathematically alive at 1-3 in district, but it is desperation time for the Bucs, and we are just about set for kickoff here, just moments away. And Deer Park went on the road last week against a winless Clear Lake team and actually had some struggles. Falcons were hanging around with Deer Park a little bit longer than I think a lot of Deer Park fans might have thought.
Yeah, Mason, I think sometimes we get kind of caught up with the schedule on paper, right, versus the game that's right in front of us. And I think that happened a little bit last week, maybe even the week before. Potentially could happen this week where you're kind of looking ahead a little too much, not focused on what you're doing. And that causes you to sometimes stumble when you would traditionally be running at full speed. So I'd like to see these guys come out, take care of business on the field tonight, and then worry about the next week.
Deer Park was able to pull away a little bit in the second half against Clear Lake last week, 42-16 the final score. It didn't feel like that big of a gap as we were watching that one last week, but Deer Park was able to take care of business, and they'll look to do that again tonight. Deer Park making their way out to the field.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, that we're kind of what we're talking about, like how it should be versus kind of how it goes. And the score certainly indicates a very lopsided win. Just didn't feel that way watching it when you see kind of some of the superior athletes that are out there on Deer Park versus Clear Lake last week maybe. And I don't know, some of the different things that just, it didn't feel quite as clean as it could have been. And
especially coming off a bye week as well.
Yeah, that's the one thing is like and I think I mentioned this, the bye week always made me just a little bit nervous because it felt like depending on the squad, you'd kind of come out and be a little bit more flat than you should be. But each week is a new game, new opponent, new opportunity. So,
and the Buccaneers making their way out to the field. 2-5 on this season. They've had a rough stretch. 1-3 in district, but the 3 losses coming to 3 playoff teams: Clear Falls, Clear Springs, and Dickinson over the last 3 weeks. So that's about as tough of a stretch as you can get in this district. And then follow it up with Deer Park right after that. So a tough 4-game stretch for Brazoswood.
Yeah, certainly. Comparatively speaking, when you're looking at the schedule, Deer Park's kind of had the opposite of that, right? So it's one of those things where you got to focus on the game in front of you, got to focus on today's game plan and execute that to the fullest.
Just about set for kickoff and getting you ready in just a moment here. National anthem coming your way.
Mic check, mic check.
And of course the officials getting the mic check. This is a little softer than what we've had.
Amen.
Earlier this season. Eventually they just had to cut that one official's mic. I don't know. Was that the Falls game or Clearbrook a couple weeks ago?
I don't know. You know, I'm still not hearing correctly out of one ear. So.
Still ringing. So national anthem just about set. We'll turn it over to the PA announcer. So getting you ready for coin toss time here at Abshire. Next to last home game of the season in the regular season. Of course, Deer Park still with an opportunity to host a playoff game if things go right the rest of the schedule, but goes by fast. Regular season already winding down. Just 2 games to go after this one. Captain's getting ready to head out to midfield. And I know we've talked about it a lot, that win over Clear Lake last week, and we were blown away at how many plays Clear Lake was able to consistently reel off drive. Their opening drive went for 19 plays. The drive after that went for 15 plays. I think it's a defense that is hopefully chomping at the bit to get out there and reestablish a little bit of dominance.
Well, that's without a doubt. I mean, if you are self-critical enough during film, you're always eager to go out there and prove something the following week. It doesn't matter how good you might play. There's always plays where you could have played a little bit better. And I think that's a great indicator of some of the best players. One of the things for me that watching kind of like when you see a team maybe play down, for instance, right? You see that sometimes where you think on paper it should be easy, you play down. I always held that on us as coaches as the standard to make sure that we were harder on the kids during those types of weeks, because there's always so much room for letdown.
Yeah.
And so if you're holding them to a higher standard against maybe a lesser opponent, you're going to make sure you continue that level of excellence all the way through. And it's just one of those things, but it's still hard to do. You know, you might be a little bit more lax during practice, even as a coach, where you kind of maybe joking around a little bit more. And I'm not saying any of that's happening. What I'm saying is I've seen it, and those are things that I really want on these games where on paper Deer Park should certainly be putting a whooping on somebody.
Yeah.
I want them to be putting a whooping on somebody immediately.
So Brazoswood won the toss, elected to defer. It'll be the Deer Park kickoff return unit heading out. And a strong wind coming out of the south. So the wind going to be at Parker Kirsch's back. See if Trace Yates or Andrew Schroeder will get a chance at it. Schroeder 6 returns, 220 yards. It's good for nearly 37 yards per return. That's tops in the district. Also with a touchdown to his credit as well. See if he gets a chance or if it will be that guy, Trace Yates. But there you see Schroeder waiting back almost near the end zone.
I think special teams has been an area of this football team that from last year has just really improved all the way around. From kick coverage to kick returns, all of it is improved. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Kirsch with a line drive kick, and Schroeder just going to watch this one sail towards the back of the end zone. Ball will be brought out to the 25-yard line. So the Deer Park offense heads out, averaging just about 410 yards per game offensively. Most of that coming on the ground, 224 on the ground, 185 through the air, and almost 42 points per game. Of course, they had that season-high 70 against Clear Brook a couple of weeks ago. Offense going to start this drive on the far hash mark of their own 25. LaFrenz will start with an empty backfield look. Zuniga in the slot. He will motion in. Now Paradise motions across. More motion. And they fake the give. Keeper by LaFrenz up the middle on the first play. And LaFrenz breaking through tackles. LaFrenz with blockers out in front, inside the 40, inside the 30, and runs out of room inside the 25-yard line.
I tell you what, you want to run a play with multiple shifts and motions, the time to do it is right at the very beginning of the game, where you got plenty of time to talk about what everybody's doing and making sure you're set, ready to go at the beginning, because I think I counted about 3 different types of motions there.
Yeah, going with tempo. Screen play for Schroeder. Complete. Diving forward down inside the 20. 54 yards by LaFrenz on the ground on that opening play. And just like that, Deer Park in the red zone.
And right there, they go right back to a screen play. They've got a little bit of a soft secondary on that side, and they just whip it out there to them and letting them take the free yards. Those are some things that we haven't quite seen a ton of from the Deer Park offense.
2nd and 6. Ball at the Buccaneers 17-yard line. Now Yates going to motion in. Option look. Zuniga straight ahead. Going to be shut down right at the point of attack.
Yeah, they kind of did that orbit motion behind the quarterback, and then they're downhill running zone, and just didn't get a lot of movement on the front of on the line there. So, you know, not much Zuniga can even do at that point.
Just a 1-yard gain there. Sets up 3rd down and 5. Receivers bunched tightly to the line. Now Schroeder will motion across. Now Aston Jackson spreads things out. LaFrance rolling the pocket, buying time, fires. Schroeder tried to go, get his heels down, and he did at about the 12. Going to bring up 4th and I think about a yard to go.
You know, that's one of those things when you run a sprint out like that where it's kind of a flood concept. You got multiple levels all going towards the sideline. You really like a great throw. Let me tell you that. That was a good throw. But you really want to, if you have an opportunity to get it out there to him maybe a little bit quicker so he can turn upfield.
Quarterback run for LaFrance. Zuniga leading the way, diving for the pylon, not going to get there as they're going to mark him out shy of the goal line, but great effort by LaFrance. And now lots of flags getting thrown on the back end of it. I think this going to negate the 1st down run a little bit because he's going to pick up the 1st down, but yardage-wise.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 74, after the play. 15 yards from the spot of the foul, it'll be 1st down.
So they should mark him out right about the 6-yard line. That's where it looked like that right foot for LaFrance went out, but Bustamante, senior captain along that offensive line, called for the personal foul.
He was a little fired up about something. I don't know what it was, but I do know I saw a body flying way after the play, and I think he was the one that caused it to go flying. So you got to keep your cool.
So ball spotted back at the 21-yard line, but it is 1st and 10 for Deer Park. 4 wide out set. Zuniga straight up the gut. Diving down inside the 20.
Oh, come on. That's my guy Paradise right there, slapping himself on the head. He comes across on a split zone where he starts on one side of the formation. He basically whams the backside end on it. And he kind of tucked his shoulders in, and he had a nice initial contact, but was not able to really maintain it. Guy fell off. And I know he was just upset about his own personal block. There was multiple things going on, but.
Sets up 2nd and 7. John Arthur French in motion. Once again, up the gut for Zuniga. Barrels through the first contact and takes it down inside the 10. That'll be a Deer Park 1st down. And setting up 1st and goal.
Man, one of the cool things you're seeing with the kind of the evolution of LaFrence's quarterback game here is kind of how long he really rode that mesh. And he's just really keeping that in and everybody at home by holding it and threatening to pull that thing out and go with the option the other way. But he rides it, and then he lets it go, and then Zuniga does the rest.
Ball spotted at the 9. Deer Park on their opening drive. It started with a long run by LaFrance. Yates gets his first carry along the right side, cuts it upfield now, barrels his way down to about the 6 for a tough 3-yard run there on 1st down.
Man, you ain't kidding. I could not tell who was the kick-out block on that power. 34, I think that's who that was. Hugo Gonzalez, man, he came through there and really had a great block that I thought was going to help him get the edge even more because the power run game kind of bounced a little bit, but nice hard running.
3 wideouts, far side of the field. Yates stays in there at running back now. Paradise shifts over to the right side. Option look. LaFrance makes his cut, extends for the end zone. They're going to mark him down just shy.
He wanted that. He wanted it. He's trying to extend his arm out there, get it across the plane. I thought maybe he had it. Here's a good look at it.
Team's leading rusher, the sophomore quarterback, now over 500 yards on the year on the ground.
Well, we know he likes contact. Got a little bit of that Cam Scataboo in him where he likes to put his foot in the ground and go downhill right at you.
Hugo Gonzalez and Yates in the backfield. Yates, he tries to bounce off the contact, and he does. Got stiffed at the line of scrimmage, but able to just kind of roll off of it and roll into the end zone for an opening drive touchdown for Deer Park.
Oh man, yeah, they were in power, and it got collapsed pretty hard, and he ends up going backside on it. And there's some dudes there waiting for him, but he was not to be denied, right? Took on contact, rolled off of it, and got in the end zone.
Deer Park, good snap, good hold, extra point is good. Deer Park takes just over 4 minutes off the clock. They cap it off with the touchdown. There you see the touchdown run, met at the line, but able to fall, kind of roll off of it just enough to get into the end zone.
Yeah, that's one of the scary things for defenses and for offenses, especially if you're the running back. When you're running gap and one of those power run games, if you end up kind of not going where your blockers are going, and there was nowhere for him to go following the lead block, right? The guard pulling around, it got stuffed, and there's really nowhere he had to go backside with it. But when you do that, there's a good chance you don't have any help over there, and it's all on you to make something happen. You're at the half-yard line, 1 yard line. I think we can trust Yates to make it happen.
Tough run by the junior running back, gets Deer Park on the board. Deer Park goes 10 plays, 75 yards, 4:12 off the clock. Of course, 54 of that coming on the opening play on the run by Hayden LaFrenz. A high short kick and a fall at about the 25. Ball still loose. Buccaneers trying to recover it. There's a pile down inside the 25. Looks like Brazoswood was finally able to jump on it, but trouble there initially before Rodriguez was finally able to corral it.
Man, that was a great placement on the pooch. Kind of landed in no man's land, took a bounce, not able to easily be handled by the first guy. And that's what you ask of your kickers when you tell them to do that, man. Give us a chance to get down there and jump on it. Two scores for one.
Noah Phillips, the quarterback, leading this Buccaneers offense. Fakes the give. And Phillips going to be sacked on the first play of the night. And Thomas Johnson gives a little celebratory dance as well, as Phillips is dropped back to the 20.
He really had nowhere to go out here. He's kind of making it look like a little bit of a tunnel screen to the receiver with a option to hit a deep man, and well covered on the tunnel screen. And that's his first look. Even if he wanted to go there, he didn't have time.
Phillips, 57 of 107 through the air this year, 668 yards. Just 3 touchdowns to 6 interceptions on the season for Phillips. Split back in the backfield here on 2nd and 15. And whistles come in before the second down play. And the Buccaneers going to burn their first timeout of the half.
That was a good timeout by coach over there, because he realized that he had somebody flipped on the formation, and right as they snapped the ball and he called timeout, it looked like he had one guy pulling one way, another guy kind of trying to go the other way. So probably a smart timeout there by coach of Brazoswood.
Coach Eric Luster in his 2nd season with Brazoswood. Went 2-8 last year, 5-13 overall. Came here after leading North Forney for a number of years. Took the Falcons to the playoffs in 2023 before making the jump to Brazoswood. So after the timeout, 2nd and 15. It's an offense that just about 224 yards of offense per game. Phillips, slow play. Handed off to his running back, met in the backfield, and got about 9 maroon jerseys along that pile.
Well, they got into the formation, which was very similar to how they lined up right before the timeout, and they got everybody pulling the right way. The problem was Deer Park fitted up perfectly and stuffed it. So great job by the front and the linebackers there on Deer Park.
Nothing doing on that run by Diaz. And now Buccaneers looking at a 3rd down and long at their own 20-yard line. They got to get up to their own 35. Deer Park making some late substitutions. Thomas Johnson comes off. All kinds of motion pre-snap, it looked like. Phillips just slings it into the bench. It's just kind of awkward from the start.
Yeah, I was a little confused, but the ball was snapped, and it almost felt like not everybody was ready for it to be snapped, but quarterback thought he had maybe a free play out there, and no doing.
And all that awkwardness leads to an incompletion and a 3-and-out for Brazoswood as the punt team comes on. Jackson Zuniga standing at his own 5. The safety doubles as the punter as well. High kick. Takes a bounce at the Buccaneers 40 and takes a Deer Park roll inside the 40 before Brazoswood finally able to down it at about the 38. So a short field to work with for Deer Park on their 2nd drive of the night.
Well, defense certainly looks like they're out there ready to play, and the D-line especially, man, getting after it up front on that Brazoswood offensive line.
Yeah, the sack by Johnson on 1st down just got the Buccaneers behind the sticks that they weren't able to recover. Now, after the punt, Deer Park with a short field to work with. Yates in the backfield with LaFrenz. And now trips bunched, shifting to the right. Still have John Arthur French split out to the numbers near side, but the handoff goes to Schroeder. Takes a wide turn back to the 45, and he's going to get dropped.
Well, you get a lot of motion right there by the quarterback. You're hoping to maybe out-leverage them. The safety there did a great job of just seeing that thing, taking a great angle over the top. You watch 23 coming over the top, and he's kind of just feeling it out. There's nowhere for him to go, and then makes a sure tackle. Tell you what, man, Angel, that was a great play by that safety there.
Coming from, like you said, that safety spot downhill in a hurry. Loss of 6 back to the 44. Friends takes a drop, scans the field, loads up, going to go deep downfield. There's a crowd down there, and it's going to be caught somehow through all those bodies. Braylon Aston Jackson, the smallest guy on the field, comes away with it.
Well, I mean, he is a baller and a ball hawk, and he just great concentration right here, because there's no way this ball should have been caught. The thing hangs in the air, corner comes off, the safety's there, and it's just, he's the only one that comes down with it. It looks like that thing's going to get picked, tipped, something, and just great concentration. When you got people going across your face like that as a receiver, very hard thing to do what he just did.
1st and goal for Deer Park at the 8. Gamez snap. I don't know if it was directly to him or not, but it goes all the way back to the almost 30-yard line. Brazoswood, I think, going to be able to jump on it. That snap, all kinds of off target, but Legend Luster comes away with a fumble recovery.
Well, he's one that, watching a little bit of film, he does a lot there at that outside linebacker position. He runs hard, runs fast. And it was almost like LaFrenz thought he might have had a lot more time than he actually had to jump on it, because, man, it's just almost a lackadaisical way of trying to get on the ball, thinking, should I try and pick it up? And, you know, it's happening fast in the moment, but you got to get back there, go get on that ball as quickly as you can.
That is the first lost fumble by Deer Park this season. Buccaneers right back to work with better field position at their own 33. A little jet sweep. End around, trying to turn the corner. Shoved out of bounds at about the 35. As Strother takes the carry there. Picks up about 4 on first down. Off the 37-yard line. And it looks like the Brazoswood band has finally arrived. Finally coming as those buses have pulled in here at Hampshire.
You were right.
We were worried about them. And timeout, and the official getting looked at here by the training staff at about midfield.
Oh, did he get?
You see the end around by Strother, picked up about 4.
Oh, he went down. I missed it.
Saw him lose his hat and get handed back to him by one of the coaches. I didn't see what had happened to him initially. It looks to be okay. Got to play through the pain. 2nd and 5.
Get out of the way, too.
Phillips for the pistol set. Handed off. Diaz up the gut and brought down right at the point of attack. Manuel De La Cruz on the stop for Deer Park.
Well, I tell you what, their offensive line is getting a little bit of movement right now when they kind of spread out those receivers. And you know how Deer Park plays those outside linebackers pretty wide, and they're getting a little bit of push and pulling around and getting some yardage on the power right now.
3rd down, yard to go. Deer Park makes some substitutions at that linebacker position. Phillips now going to go under center, tries the hard count. I formation look. Phillips just lowers his shoulder, moves the pile just enough, it looks like, to pick up a Buccaneers first down. Now Deer Park going to bring on some extra defensive backs. Bryce Medley and De La Cruz back out. 4 wideouts here on 1st and 10 from the Buccaneers 44. Phillips taking the snap, looking left. Now a delayed draw for Diaz. Big hole up the gut. Diaz now tries to cut to the outside, but brought down at the 42. Thomas Johnson making the tackle downfield, but a good run by Diaz.
Oh, man, that was a perfectly executed delay draw there. And he had me even fooled thinking he was going to throw this little almost short route down here at the bottom of the field. And then that, man, got him. That was well executed by Brazoswood.
Buccaneers now with it in Deer Park territory at the 41, 1st and 10. Straight handoff for Diaz up the gut. Not going to get there this time. Big Eddie Lopez, the sophomore, in the middle for Deer Park, blowing that play up.
Oh, yeah. They're basically kind of just doing a little pin and pull right there with the guard and the center. If you watch right here, he kind of, it's hard to see, but they've done it a couple times and had some success. The D-line is getting a little wise to that move and stuffed it right there.
Sebastian Torres also in on that tackle. Now motion here. Fake the give, a little misdirection, handoff for Diaz. He is stuck in the backfield. Lex making the stop. Hard tackle there and sets up a 3rd and long.
That's what I'm talking about, Lex. Great job of just taking the air out of the play, near footing the whole way. They run power again, it looks like, and multiple guys are there to meet him.
3rd down and 11. Ball at the Deer Park 42. Phillips takes the snap. Little reverse. Fake the reverse. Pass too tall. Would have been close to the 1st down yardage to gain. But too high on the pass intended for David Nunez. And now 4th down and long, awkward area of the field, but the offense looking towards the sideline. Gives Deer Park a chance to make some substitutions. More linebackers out on the field. 4th and 11, offense stays out there. Phillips going to go under center. Now motion man, fake, and a deep drop, trying to set up a screen. Now just going to try and throw it into the bench, and a blown up play on 4th down.
You know, one of the things that we're seeing a lot more of from Deer Park tonight than you know last week certainly, and the week before that, or the 2 weeks before that, was they're kind of mixing up a lot of what they're doing on, not a lot, but they're mixing it up, personnel and what they're doing on defense. Yeah. Getting some safety type guys out there at times. If they got multiple receivers, you know, kind of a doubles look out there, or going more linebacker types depending on how many offensive linemen and backs they got in the backfield. But not only that, you look at kind of the corners and the secondary. I see a mix up in coverage, which I really like for them to do, where it's just not kind of keeping them on their toes to where they can't just get too used to what you're going to do.
For the 4th down stop, Deer Park takes over at their own 42-yard line. Back on the ground, Zuniga shifting his way, weaving his way through that defense up ahead to the 49. Good 7-yard burst there on 1st down.
Yeah, they go with kind of a X-over formation is what we used to call it, where you got a dead receiver down here, and I felt like Brazoswood recognized it, came down pretty tight to him, but then they just go the other way with the run play, and he just does a nice job kind of sifting his way through traffic right there.
Under a minute to go in a quick moving first quarter. Deer Park with it, 2nd and short. Just shy of midfield. Back for Zuniga. Just taking it up the gut on this Brazoswood defense and takes it to the 45.
Man, I hope he's all right. They do a lot of this, you know, they motion Paradise, and he comes across the formation on that in that zone. Like whenever we would come across like that, I always called it wham, because he's whamming the opposite side end. It's basically just a split zone look, and well, he comes across, and I think that was I want to say that was number 41, which I don't have him listed on here.
Yeah.
But he had a clue it was coming, and it was a big-time collision right there, kind of at the end of the line of scrimmage. And
Paradise, the one shaken up on the play, the junior tight end.
Hope it's just maybe got his bell rung a little bit. Looking at his arm, maybe.
Good start offensively for Deer Park, averaging over 7 yards per play here so far in the first. Paradise making the walk over towards the sideline.
Might have surprised him more than anything, where he's used to kind of teeing off on those defensive ends and outside linebackers on that play where they really don't get a good look at him coming. But I tell you what, 41, yet to be named, was ready.
1st and 10. Now Luke Lloyd checks in to take Paradise's spot at the tight end. Handed off to Yates after a lot of misdirection and window dressing, but not a whole lot there.
Man, safety again, 23 is back in the backfield making the play. Angel again. And, you know, the first puller, I mean, that's really your job on counters. You got to kick the first thing there. And I know it seems like he's kind of wide, but your eyes have got to be there on the first thing that shows up. You can't be thinking I'm turning upfield just because he's out wide. You got to go out there and go get him.
Well, that ends the first quarter. Deer Park took the opening drive down 75 yards, capped it off with a touchdown, and they were moving the ball well Up until that snap got away from him, ended up costing him yardage.
And we do have a name for number 41 that had the big impact in the backfield with Paradise. That's Luis Martinez, and he was definitely ready for that.
So after one, Deer Park leading Brazoswood after the first 12 minutes, 7-0. You're watching Deer Park football on the Deer Network.
Okay, so take this right. Now pull into that parking space. Now put the car in park. Great, thanks so much. It's my lunch break.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Order now at Wingstop in Deer Park, 7730 Spencer Highway.
Getting ready for the start of the second quarter here at Abshire Stadium. Deer Park 5-2 on the season and 4-0 in district. Tied for first in district play along with Dickinson. Hosting Brazoswood. Buccaneers sitting at 1-3 in district with work to do over the final 3 games if they want to reach the playoffs. But Deer Park starts the second quarter, second down and 10 from the Buccaneers 45.
You better watch Zero at the top of the screen. He's showing he's coming off the edge.
Outside linebacker. Luster does come with a blitz. Throw far side of the field, pass complete. John Arthur French, his first reception of the night. Picks up about 8.
Man, that's a long throw, but it's just such a hard route to cover if you're out there by yourself, where he could easily run by you if he keeps going, but then he slams on the brakes, comes back to the ball, sees it in, and gets what he can.
Sets up a 3rd and short. Yates standing in the backfield with LaFrenz here on 3rd down and 2. Under pressure, trying to dump it off to Lloyd, and he loses the football. They're going to say incomplete or that he was down.
Oh, wow, they're calling it a catch and then down.
I would have thought, I thought that was going to be incomplete, but Lloyd, with a tough grab, holds on to it and picks up the first down for Deer Park.
I tell you what, they got enough right into LaFrenz's face. If off of the fake, he was able to get the ball out there immediately, like just a fake and dump it out there. He had some space to run, but because he got somebody in his face and had to loft it, it gave time for a defender to come down pretty hard on the tight end there and put a wallop on him. He's lucky that it's considered a catch.
Lloyd now motions across. And now Braylon Aston Jackson in motion. All to hand it off to Yates up the gut, and he gets a nice chunk inside the 30 down to the 27. Six-yard run up the gut by Trace Yates.
Yates is he's one of those guys. He's got good vision and he's got patience, and that's something that's at this, the high school level to teach that patience and get them to see it first is just.
Yates again taking defenders with him for a ride down to the 21. Another Deer Park first down.
It's just that whole slow to fast is kind of what we used to tell our running backs. You're seeing this slow to fast, letting your blocks develop up front, and then once they develop, you're fast through the hole. I feel like he has a pretty good mentality that's along those lines.
Luster again coming off the edge for Brazoswood, but not before Yates was able to pick up that first down. Ball at the 21. Braylon Aston Jackson motions out, sprint out for LaFrenz. And tried to get it to Schroeder, too far out in front though. First incompletion of the night for LaFrenz. Two wideouts, far side of the field. 2nd and 10 for Deer Park. Play action. LaFrenz under pressure, rolls left, has running room. He'll take off with it and just go out of bounds at about the 13. Pickup of 8. Boy, there was about two or three white jerseys just going wherever Schroeder was going towards the end zone. They were not going to let get beat.
You're exactly right. They were really mirroring him because he had his eyes locked on him the entire time. But I'll tell you one thing right here, LaFrenz deciding to step out of bounds. Very few times that he does that, I feel like. Or maybe it's like once you see your quarterback turn upfield one time, it feels like it's too much.
He took that hard hit last week and said, maybe I don't need to be doing this.
Yeah.
3rd down and 2. Option look. Stutter step, hesitates, and LaFrenz goes down. Loss of 3 on the play back to the 16, and the field goal unit going to head out.
Well, I just, it's basically speed option where you're running laterally initially, and then your fallback is to pitch it backwards another 3 yards probably. Whenever you just need a few yards, man, I love the QB run game, but like QB counter, QB power, QB zone read, something downhill for the QB, my preference.
Garcia Mutade boots through the extra point. Now 6 of 7 on field goal attempts of the year. Helps Deer Park extend their lead to double digits. Yeah, we've seen Deer Park quite a few times run that quarterback speed option towards almost the short side of the field a lot.
A whole lot. And, the idea with it is, I think, with LaFrenz and his mentality and where he's able to get out in space and then he puts one foot in the ground and he goes downhill, right there is just there's nowhere for him to even go with it. And then if he does pitch it, you've run out of room on the field going to that short side to where you've pitched it backwards. And there's, there's a couple of bad drawbacks to it maybe. But there are certainly some great positives to it whenever you get it blocked up right up front.
Some other scores from around the district. Dickinson taking on Clear Springs tonight, and the Gators up 13-0 on the Chargers there. A win by Dickinson would allow Falls to leapfrog Clear Springs after the Knights knocked off the Chargers last week by a couple touchdowns. That would give each of them one loss in district. Falls currently taking care of Clearbrook. High, deep kick. Back into the own end zone, brings it out anyway. Gets by the first wave and down the near sideline, cuts it back into a crowd and up ahead to about the 31. Great return.
Oh man, when they were able to break contain, so our contain guy can't ever let anybody get outside of you like that. And, he was able to get outside and get up the field pretty quick.
Sophomore running back Denzel Jackson on that return. Goes for about 31. So Phillips and company, just 22 yards of offense so far. Try and string something together here with 8:45 to go. Phillips under center, I formation, handoff to Diaz on first down. Not a whole lot there, maybe a yard on first.
Again, when they've kind of lined up with multiple backs in the backfield and they've tried to run power that way, Deer Park's done a great job of stuffing it almost every single time.
Looks like Jaden Moore coming in off the edge for Deer Park on the stop. 2nd down and 10. Phillips now shifts to the shotgun look. Now back under center. Diaz the deep back. Play action. Phillips with a deep drop. Going to go deep downfield. Has a man wide open, but just couldn't get it there. Was looking for Braylon Burby deep downfield, and Phillips going into the wind. Tough throw with that wind coming out of the south, but just couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely thrown into a pretty stiff wind. And I thought maybe there was a great opportunity for Braylon to maybe make an adjustment and adjust to the ball and still go get it. But maybe it just kind of kept on sailing on him there.
3rd down and 9. 3 wideouts far side of the field. Deer Park thought about bringing a blitz. They back out of it. Now Phillips trying to shift his way through. Tackled from behind. Shy of the 1st down. That'll force another Brazoswood punt. Great pursuit by this Deer Park defense, not giving up on the play after Phillips had turned it upfield.
Yeah, I mean, they did a nice job, Brazoswood did. They ran the ends kind of up the field, and he was kind of able to step up into the pocket and then squirt through the middle there. But you have the other guys kind of collapsing and pursuing, and ultimately able to make the stop. Uh-oh.
Schroeder, waiting on the punt. Not going to get a chance here. Going to let it roll. It takes a favorable Buccaneers roll inside the 30 and all the way to the Deer Park 25. So an extra 10 or 15 yards there on the roll.
You know, a lot of it is taking advantage of the lucky bounces, you know, the lucky calls. A lot of that is involved in every sport, I feel like. And right there, you got a nice lucky bounce.
Defense for Brazoswood, they didn't get much of a rest. They've already been out there for 10+ minutes of game time and having to go right back out. Deer Park offense looking to go back to work. Zuniga and Schroeder in the backfield. Schroeder easy to spot with those bright pink gloves. And he'll get the carry here on 1st down. Looking for a block from Zuniga, trying to shift his way and turn the corner. Not a whole lot there, but picks up a few. Up ahead to the 29.
You know, they've had some good success with the kind of the outside zone throughout the year. Leading up on the outside linebacker, hoping you can cut it up if he tries to run up the field, or if you do get him sealed, you bounce it to the outside. But right there, I mean, that was a good job by Brazoswood, and everybody on their team really kind of stringing it out and pursuing themselves.
2nd and 6. Arthur French shifting over. Quick little out route pass complete. Braylon Aston Jackson just turns upfield. Hit out of bounds at about the 36. Angel there on the stop. He has been busy for this Buccaneers defense.
I'm going to, you know, Action Jackson, he's just what I would consider a really just savvy football player. He just always knows exactly where he is on the field. He throttles down his little out route here, slows it down so that he has time to turn up the field and get that 1st down. A lot of the younger guys and just anybody in general.
Offsides, free play, loads up, going for Schroeder downfield, but this one's going to sail out of bounds. As that wind at LaFrence's back.
Yeah, he's certainly
Offside. Defense, number 42.
got the win.
5-yard penalty.
But what I was saying about Action Jackson is he's just running it's kind of a smash concept where he's got the shorter route of it where he's running a short out. You got basically a corner maybe going over the top of you. And but he doesn't just keep running full speed to the sideline. He throttles that thing down so he knows that when I do get the ball, I can turn upfield and make a great play. And
savvy move by the senior. 1st and 5 following the penalty. Quarterback run straight up ahead. LaFrenz picks up the 1st down and gets right near midfield and slightly into Buccaneers territory. Another run to move the chains for Deer Park.
I like it whenever he, well, obviously everybody likes it when your quarterback can run the ball. That was dumb. But, I mean, he just does, he does a nice job where if he does drop back and all of a sudden he sees it open, he's not going to try and force something all the time.
Look at Zuniga powering through that Buccaneers defense down to the 40.
You want to talk about something that can really deflate and grind on your defense is a running back and a running game with the offensive line that's just kind of crushing it down your neck a little bit, and that's what Zuniga I mean, that's how he's always played. He likes to go downhill and keep the feet churning, doesn't he?
9 yards there on first down. I mean, the first contact's made about 2 or 3 yards from the line of scrimmage, and he just keeps barreling through. 4 white jerseys finally bring him down. Yates going to get a crack at it as well, and Yates knifing his way to the second level and then some down to the 28. 12 yards there for Yates.
Hey, great coaching tape right there for 86 on Deer Park. Luke Lloyd. I'm going to come back to this play. Don't let me forget about it. They run it again.
Right back to Yates, up the gut.
Exact same play. They ran it back to back. It's kind of that same zone look where the tight end is pulling across the formation and fitting up on the outside linebacker or the DN, whoever's the first to show up off the edge. The time he ran it, the play before this, Lloyd ran that play right there. And I'm going to tell you, that is coaching tape, the way that he broke down, fitted up onto the guy, and shielded it, and it ended up going backside. And, man, it was just a great.
Friends, quick throw, looking for the slant route far side of the field, but that ball deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Were they going back to Lloyd right there?
Looked like it. They had Lloyd split out.
Oh, look, I love that, man. Coach knows what a great 2 blocks in a row he made on that play. And they weren't devastating blocks, but they were great fit-ups, dropping his hip, wide base, and he's on the correct side of the block. Man, and then you want to try and get him the ball right after that to show him how much appreciation you got for him when he makes those blocks.
Lloyd stays out there, bringing on an extra tight end as well, Alex Garcia. 3rd down and 5 at the Buccaneers 23. Play action, slant route looking there. Schroeder's open, touchdown.
Ooh, that's tough to cover, man. When they make it look the exact same up front of those 2 run plays that Yates did that got the chunk yardage. But this time they run a slant on the backside of it, and he nails them right on the number 1 for a walk-in touchdown.
Schroeder with his 7th touchdown catch of the year. Beat the cornerback Henry. And Garcia Mutate on for the extra point. Gets it down and through the uprights. It's now 17-0. Deer Park on top.
Man, I tell you what, I'm really gonna praise Coach Hernstier. Did I say it correct, Mason? That's how you said it earlier. So the offensive coordinator there for Deer Park, I like what he just did in that drive right there, especially there at the end, where everything is very similar with just subtle wrinkles on it. And yes, he did run those 2 running plays right in a row, right there to get in the end. It makes it look like the same running play. So those safeties and those linebackers, when they see backfield action that looks all the exact same, what we just got crushed on, they're sucking up to where it makes a one-on-one type of pass against a corner. You get inside leverage on a corner as a receiver, and you got a quarterback that can put it right on his chest. That's good football right there.
And the Friends, even with a little double pump, it wasn't there initially. Brought the ball back down, let the route develop a little bit more.
Right.
Got it to Schroeder for the touchdown.
Let him get that leverage on the inside. It was perfect.
16th touchdown through the air for LaFriends. Pooch kick. Fair catch going to be bobbled. Ball's loose. Deer Park thinks they've recovered it. And what a disaster this would be for Brazoswood. And Deer Park comes away with it.
Oh, man.
It's like
When it
42.
rains, it pours,
Dominic
right?
Goad getting that loose ball. And you had the guy at the 25 calling for the fair catch, but it was the player from the line above.
You're exactly right. He was he drifted backwards, and you never catch the ball over your head like that if you're a return guy. You always let the guy calling from it behind you take it. That's a cardinal rule on return special teams there. You don't drift back. You definitely don't reach over your head like that to take it. You let the guy behind you take it. But Deer Park benefiting on the mistake there by Brazoswood.
Deer Park offense right back to work. Ball at the Buccaneers 32. Lloyd motions over. Play action. Looking for the home run ball on first down. It's not there. Throws far out route. John Arthur French just ran out of room. but a long throw from LaFrenz from about the 40 far hash mark to the sideline here at the 15.
And I think maybe next year John Arthur French is going to be making that catch. It's just a little bit out of his reach. He's got another inch on his body. He probably makes that. And he did a great job with his body position to stay inbounds and try and get the toes down. Just a little bit too far out of his reach.
Second down and 10 following the incompletion. LaFrenz 7 of 10 tonight for 86 yards and a touchdown. But they go back to work on the ground. Zuniga, another big hole up the gut.
Man, someone's telling, this is what I saw. I can't remember what game it was. It had to have been 3-4 games ago. They were running this same zone play where they were kicking out, coming across the formation. It was Paradise doing it. And they were creating a lot of space with that kick out block to where he was able to, if he saw it, bend it back to that gap rather than pressing it forward. Tonight, they've been seeing it and going back to that gap, and it's been wide open. They're gashing them with it.
Yeah, up the gut. Brazoswood, just no answer for it yet as Goad picked up, or Zuniga rather.
I tell you what, Lloyd, the senior, has done an excellent job coming in here for the injured Paradise. Just fitting up and making good blocks. Look at that.
Play action, slant route again, far side of the field looking for John Arthur French. Too tall for him off of his hands and incomplete.
The same basic play they just scored on with Schroeder. Make it look like zone, trying to hit the backside slant post. But again, Lloyd's coming across the formation. He's looking for the first threat, and there he's technically in pass protection, and he picks it up. I tell you what, he's got some good film on him today, that something to be very proud of.
This will be about a 43-yarder. Be a season long if Garcia Mutade can knock this one through. Got plenty of distance. Did he get it to the uprights? Yes, he did.
Man, that thing would have been good from another 15 yards back, I think, at least.
43-yard field goal, and it's 20-0.
Man, hey, that's where that wind kind of helps you out a little bit, but it's really not blowing like it was earlier.
They're dead on the flagpole over there in the north end zone.
Man, we knew he had a leg, and he was a real weapon just coming into the season and what he's done so far, but big boot right there.
And unfortunately, it looks like Paradise's night might be done. They've taken his shoulder pads off of him. The trainer's still talking with him a little bit, so Junior's night might be done.
Well, you hate that for the guy that goes down and has to be injured, but you love it for the opportunity of the guy that's been working hard to get in there and prove himself as well. And I think Lloyd has done a good job with just some really fundamental, good blocking, good footwork, things that let you show that you're not going to have much of a drop-off with him in the game at all.
And Mutade with another deep kick. This one about 3 yards deep. Stumbles, brings it out anyway, right up the gut. And doesn't even get back to the 20-yard line. A little bit tangled up on the back end. Couple of players, no flags thrown though. But Brazoswood able to hold Deer Park to just 3 points after that kickoff return disaster on the previous one. They'll start this drive at their own 18.
Yeah, you sometimes start feeling it a little bit, calling some pass plays there right at the beginning when your run game's working all right, and I always like the run to throw the ball. But you mix it up, keep everybody on their toes for sure.
Two receivers each side, but just to spread it out for Diaz up the middle. Jaden Moore coming in off the edge, making the initial contact.
See, that's been kind of one of their best plays as far as run game, is where they go with a single back. They pull one guard, one tackle. You pull in the tackle, it's technically called dart. But they're pulling one guy, and he's leading up, and they've actually been.
Phillips looks left, slings it, slant route, a little bit behind his intended target. Looks like Burby again. They just have not been able to connect.
No. had a whip route here by the number 2 receiver that was well covered, and then the number 1 receiver kind of going over the top of that. Again, pretty well covered.
Just like that, Brazoswood looking at a 3rd and 6, trying not to give the ball right back to this Deer Park offense.
Yeah, not taking hardly any time off the clock.
4 wide receiver set, 3 to the far side of the field. Diaz stays in to block. Pass rush is coming from the outside. He's in trouble, and Phillips going to be dropped back at about the 16-yard line. 2nd sack tonight for Thomas Johnson.
Well, Thomas just kind of had that relentless pursuit right there where he initially kind of ran up the field and he pulled a U-turn and was still able to come around and make the sack for a loss.
And 2:29 left. And
Timeout. Deer Park.
Deer Park wisely going to take their first time out of the half.
2:34 on the game clock. 2:34.
And they're going to get a little time added to the clock as well. But Deer Park, 34 plays run, 220 yards of offense already. Brazoswood, 17 plays run for just 27 yards. Outgained the Bucks by nearly 200 yards in this first half.
This football season, score big with StarSU. Whether you're driving to the game or tackling your financial goals, StarSU has your back with low long rates, flexible payments, and over
Have not seen
ATMs nationwide.
much of a threat really by Brazoswood throwing the ball. I mean,
They come in
I sometimes have a
averaging-
bad memory, but I haven't seen it tonight where it's they've kind of had some guys maybe in the same place at the same time. Not much time to throw the ball always makes it worse, right? But I just haven't seen a super crisp pass or anything really to really threaten your secondary.
Yeah, it's an offense that's not really built for the pass. They average less than 100 yards per game through the air. And Phillips, so far tonight, 0 for 5 passing. Schroeder waiting at the Buccaneers 45, but drifting towards midfield. But this one take another friendly Brazoswood roll all the way to the Deer Park 43 before being down.
Well, that's something that might end up getting a lot worse for Brazoswood when the coaches get into halftime and realize, well, you know, we can really sick the D-line right here and make sure they're getting level with the quarterback, collapsing in on them, and just making it real hard for them at that point. I didn't see your pink hat. Did you forget it today or just not participating?
You're wearing a black polo and a black hat. You didn't get the memo either. I don't know what you're talking about. Deer Park right back with it at their own 48. Low snap, handled by LaFrance, trying to set up a screen. Yates with blockers out in front. Yates off and running, makes a cut to the outside. Yates inside the 40 before scampering out of bounds near the 38-yard line, but a flag thrown at about the Brazoswood 43.
During the run, holding, number 0, offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
John Arthur French going to be called for the hold. See where they mark it off. Still be first down. So that was a block being made further downfield. So they're looking at about a 1st and 6.
You got to get that basketball shuffle going out there if you're a receiver in space trying to block, where your feet are wide, you're going laterally, chopping those feet, trying to move, because it is difficult sometimes, but you can't hold on to them whenever the play bounces or goes somewhere where you don't think it's going to go.
1st and 6. LaFrance looks left, comes to Schroeder at the 45, trying to beat his man to the outside, but just going to be swarmed down at the Buccaneers 43. Good enough for another Deer Park first down. And we saw it a little bit on that screen play. There's just not a whole lot that Yates can't do. We've talked about the tough running that he had on the touchdown run, the vision that he puts on display, but he's got that deceptive burst to him as well.
He does, and you know, he's just, I don't feel like he's really gotten to showcase a ton of it this year. He's had a few times where he's kind of pop through the second level, then all of a sudden you see it and you're like, whoa, whoa, he got some speed. But right there again on the screen, like you said, I mean, you saw those legs, and he definitely kicked it into another gear. And I really, really hope to see him in some of these games at the end of the season kick it off.
Shane's doing the YMCA up here in the booth.
They got it booming. I love it.
Some other scores from around the district. Give you an update there. Falls just up by a touchdown on Clearbrook, 21-14. Kind of a surprising score there, but Gators for Dickinson on top of Clear Spring, 16-0. And Clear Lake and Clear Creek. I believe Creek with a 7-0 lead there. Another game of note across the channel. North Shore with a 21-7 lead on Atascocita. The Friends starts right, comes back left. Braylon Aston Jackson goes down to get it and gets up ahead. Nice head of steam as he gets to the 36.
Oh man, that was a good job. You had to, can't tell who that was. I believe that was I want to say that was Gabriel Driscoll out there wide, making just getting his body in the way and making a pretty clutch block for Action Jackson to cut off of and get upfield.
Aston Jackson picks up 7. 4 receivers split out. Another quick throw, fastball, pass complete to Schroeder. Sidesteps a couple of people down to the 25. Wow.
Man,
Left a couple of jock straps on the field on that one.
He did have some nice moves. Broke some ankles.
Ball to
Just
24.
a hitch route too. I mean, pretty simple, straightforward stuff.
Far throw, pass complete. John Arthur French on the screen, turns it upfield, gets a block, and spins his way down to the 20. Schroeder with his 5th catch tonight. That one went for an impressive 12 yards. Deer Park trying to up the tempo a little bit. 2nd and 6, ball at the 20. LaFrenz looks right, goes towards the end zone, nearly picked off inside the 5, but they're going to say incomplete as the safety Zuniga tried to get underneath it.
Dangerous throw. He had a guy in his face. Definitely skipped off the ground. Tell you what, they've been going kind of a press man look against Schroeder, and I have not seen him have an issue getting off the ball yet. He is so quick, so fast. A little different look now, but
Deer Park trying to convert here on 3rd down.
oh, their blitzer's showing it. Number 0. They like to bring him off the edge. Make sure you got an eye for it now.
Now Luster getting right up in the face of John Arthur French down near the numbers.
Play game. Offense. All yard penalty.
Deer Park
3rd down.
not taking their 2nd timeout. Will cost them 5 yards here on the delay of game. Well, they haven't marked off the yardage yet. Now they do. That'll make it 3rd down and 11. Deer Park comes with 4 wideouts, 3 to the near side. Zuniga in the backfield. Buccaneers come with a blitz. LaFrenz loads up, goes for the end zone. Braylon Aston Jackson, lots of contact, but good defense in the end zone by Brazoswood to knock that ball away.
Very well covered, but the friends might have been thinking, hey, I threw one down there to him earlier in the game, and he was the one that came down with it. But you got 3 guys playing pretty well over the top of that.
Kieran Lunford, number 1 for Brazoswood, deflecting that ball away. So Garcia Mutane, who just hit a 43-yarder, going to get a chance here from 42. Again from the right hash. Looking kick off the upright, but through.
And that was halfway up the upright.
Yeah.
I mean, he got plenty of leg. We know that. Gets the fortuitous bounce off the upright. Good job by his holder right there. Was that, couldn't tell who that was, but his holder, kind of a high snap, almost in back shoulder, and he snags it and gets it down for him just in time.
Garcia Mutate, what, 3 for 3 now on field goals tonight? 2 of them from 40 plus. So that opens up a 23-0 lead for Deer Park with under a minute to go here before halftime.
Mason Hill on the hold there that I was congratulating him on a job well done.
Senior punter for Deer Park, also doubling as the holder there on field goal attempts. Did a nice job, like you said, handling that snap, getting it down for his kicker. Well, Brazoswood, 2 timeouts in their pocket, but under a minute to go, and we've seen them struggle putting the ball in the air. They might just be content to get to the break. Deep kick. Gonna take a bounce about halfway into the end zone. Bring it out to the 25 after the touchback. And this is a defense that's feeling good. Thomas Johnson and Michael Benavidez, the 2 defensive ends, were high-fiving and chest bumping even as they came out to the field. I think they're feeling good that they can start pinning their ears back here pretty soon.
That's always a good feeling, especially if you're one of the DNs that likes to go rush the passer.
Johnson already with 2 sacks tonight. Phillips from the pistol set. Quick throw, pass complete. A little screenplay, but can be brought down inbounds on the pass complete to Strother.
Wow. Caden Gladney with a nice sure tackle out there. I mean, that was a no-brainer throw, the way that he was lighting up with, I mean, giving him 10-yard cushion and the spacing of everything. I was like, daggum, they're definitely going to throw it to him. But he closed on it and kept it down to like a 3-yard gain.
Phillips and company going quickly. Looking left, running out of time. Fires deep downfield. Gladney in coverage and incomplete, but they're going to get Gladney for the pass interference.
Oh, yeah. I just kind of gave him a little bit of praise, but right there he was all over the receiver downfield, and when it's a little bit behind, you know you're always going to get caught up. Well, not always.
Pass interference. Defense, number 8. Yards from the spot.
Keeps the drive alive with 18 seconds, and like we said, Brazoswood still with 2 timeouts. And now a little bit closer as they mark off the penalty to the Buccaneers 43. Still going into a strong win. Actually, now kind of a crosswind almost.
Yeah, it's whipping around, kind of.
Phillips takes the snap. Deer Park thought about a blitz under pressure. Phillips again just going to go deep downfield. Defenders trying to find it, and Bryce Medley going to get underneath it at the 24. 3rd pick on the season for Medley.
Well, that ball definitely didn't go where he wanted it to go. And like you said, that crosswind really pulled on it, but had it even gone to where he wanted it to go, there was a couple guys there to help.
10th team interception of the season, and Phillips just slinging it downfield, and nice play by Medley, looking like an outfielder going to the ground there.
Yeah, I was about to say, just like he looked like a baseball player.
George Springer-esque, who is in the World Series tonight. Well, with 11 seconds, Deer Park back out there. They'll just take a quick knee, and that'll do it for the first half. Deer Park outgains the Buccaneers by more than 200 yards. Hold the Bucs to just 30 yards of offense. The Deer Park offense, on the flip side of that, 272 yards there in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit more of kind of what we expected on as far as the total yardage and everything like that. You like to see them finish off some of those drives a little bit more, but when you do have a weapon like Matute, it's pretty nice.
So at the break, Hayden LaFrenz, team leading rusher, 7 carries for 52 yards. Zuniga, 7 carries for 41. Trace Yates, 8 carries for 38. And a touchdown and through the air. Schroeder leading the way. 5 receptions, 53 yards and a score. Braylon Aston Jackson with 3 catches for 50. John Arthur French, a modest first half, 2 catches for 12 yards. Trace Yates with a reception on that screenplay as well. And Lloyd, who is coming in for Paradise, has added a reception as well. But Brazoswood band, late arrivals, but they're getting out to the field. We'll get to halftime here from Abshire Stadium. Deer Park leading at the break, 23-0. You're watching Deer Park football on the Deer Network.
Community First DR is open 24/7 with little to no wait time. Our friendly medical team is standing by waiting to provide you concierge-level medical care. Caring for our Deer Park athletes is one of our top priorities. Community First DR is conveniently located on Highway 225 and East Boulevard. Community First DR is committed to putting your health, your community, and you first every day.
Ibarra and Audrey Riggs. Drumline captains are Lisa Nagata, Emma Schuster, and Everett Stevenson. Front ensemble captain is Sam C. and Sasha Flores. Color guard is led by Captain Chelsea Pena. Lieutenants Jose Mendoza, London De Leon, and Natalie Guerrero. Boy fish of the week is Grayson Surgeons. Girl fish, Alex Berner. Girl senior, Jocelyn Zambrano. Boy senior, Emiliano Nieto. Banderina, McKinley Nix. Banderino, Gordon Perry. Miss Spirit, Leilani Ramos Rodriguez. Mr. Spirit, Mason Mitchell. Guard girl, Haley Hott. Guard diva, Leah Wilson. Ninth man, Zach Deaton. Big three, Noah Rangel. Parent of the week is Greg Dietrich. Section of the week are our cartography parents. Dirtiest section of the week, the jazz bands. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buccaneer Band is proud to present their 2025 production, Rail Rips. School Principal Jared Johnson, Fine Arts Coordinator Ron Redden, Superintendent Danny Massey, and the Brazoswood ISD Board of Trustees for their continual support of the Buccaneer Band. Have a great night and go Bucks!
Escorts of the week. They are Jimmy Betancourt and Valerie Lake. Spirit Girl of the week is Emily Steinberg. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have the incredible honor of welcoming back some of our dear Escort alumni as we celebrate 75 years of Dear Escort excellence. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as the Dear Escorts and over 100 Dear Escort alumni perform We Are Family. Tires Roofing and Renovation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the pride of Deer Park, the 2025 UIL Sweepstakes Award winning Deer Park High School Marching Band. Megan Jensen, Isabella Gonzalez, and Dan Anderson. We would like to recognize our weekly award winners. They are Director Award, Benjamin Ellis. Section of the Week, Flutes. Color Guard Member of the Week, Natalie Duque. Outstanding Officer, Isel Sosa. And tonight, for your halftime entertainment, the Deer Park High School Marching Band and Color Guard perform music from their 2025 marching show, Waves of Change. Associates DJ Powers with Sign Pros Unlimited. The Deer Park High School band and color guard will compete in the UIL Area E competition on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Please wish them luck. Let's hear it one more time for the Deer Park High School Marching Band and Deer Escort. Oh, Big Deer!
Well, back here at Abshire Stadium, getting ready for the start of the second half. Deer Park hosting the Buccaneers of Brazoswood. Deer Park riding that 5-game winning streak. Looking to make it 6 in a row with a win tonight. And looking good so far through the first half, 23-0. Deer on top. And really just outshined Brazoswood on both sides of the ball. 267 yards of offense for Deer Park, and the Deer Park defense holding the Buccaneers to just 30 yards.
Yeah, I mean, the defense for sure has kind of been the thing that, to me, is really stood out more than anything, because last week, you know, I was a little surprised by the way Clear Lake was able to kind of pass the ball on us and move the ball down the field and doing all this stuff. Ain't happening with the defense this week, and offense still moving the ball, still scoring points, but you'd like to see them finish some of those drives with touchdowns instead of field goals.
And the running game really for Deer Park has been the most effective. 129 yards on the ground in that first half. Averaging as a team over 5 yards a carry. They've just been gashing Brazoswood up the gut. See if that continues here in the second half. But it will be the Brazoswood offense first, as they won the toss in the first half, elected to defer. Deer Park going to start with this third quarter. Wind at their back. Garcia Mutada, he's one of the stars of that first half. 3 for 3 on field goals. A couple of deep kickoffs as well. He's had a nice night so far. And he opens up this third quarter with a little chip shot, fielded at the 25. Zuniga, the safety on the return, goes left, just ahead to the 30. Short return.
Didn't quite get the air under it that time to initiate the fair catch, and he was able to actually, that's the one thing on that pooch kick, man. If you don't get the air under it and they're able to actually do a return, getting better field position than you'd like them to have.
So Phillips and the offense take over for the first time in this second half at their own 30. Behind by 23. Pistol set, and Phillips hands it off. Big hole for Diaz up the middle. Now breaks to the left and taken down just shy of the Deer Park 40. A spark by this.
Well, it's the same thing that they had the most success with earlier, because you see Deer Park, they only got one linebacker in the box. They spread everybody else out, and then they're pulling around the guard and just leading up on the one linebacker. Nobody else is home.
Go back to it. Diaz again with another big hole along the left side. Diaz breaks a tackle, and Diaz going to go the distance. Inside the 10, 5, no. Bumped out of bounds. Touchdown saving tackle there by Kyler Ferris, but Diaz takes it down to the 2.
Well, you want to talk about coming out of the halftime and firing on all cylinders. Brazoswood got some coaching up, and they got an idea of what they were successful with.
Phillips goes under center, tries to get a little tush push from the 2. Gets down to the 1, not there. Diaz, 68 yards on the ground on just 2 carries here to open up this third quarter.
I would not stop doing that running play out of those formations, because that's where they had the little bit of success, where they got their yardage earlier in the first half. They realized, hey, that worked, let's go back to it. And I mean, like you said, it opened up.
Oh, and the fullback Too much of a lean there, going to cost Brazoswood 5 on the false start. But Buccaneers have come out in this opening quarter of the third quarter.
Tell you what,
opening minute of the third quarter, rather, and kind of punched Deer Park in the mouth here in the first 2 plays.
They certainly have, and if the Deer are able to kind of bow their necks and stop them from getting into the end zone, you would maybe consider that a win and go back to the sideline and be like, okay, maybe we might need to adjust our front a little bit. They've kind of got a beat on where we're at.
Second down. Phillips once again going to go under center. Diaz deep in the backfield. Now send a man in motion. Fake the jet sweep. Pitch it to Diaz. Going to lose a few back to the 10 as this Deer Park defense, just like you said, trying to bow their neck as Jaden Moore came in off the edge.
Yeah, Jaden Moore, you know, they use him a lot of time as kind of like a zone corner type guy where he kind of squats there in the flats, and he does a good job of just keeping his eyes in the backfield, flips out to him, getting him around the legs, waiting for the help to come.
Third down and goal for Brazoswood. Ball at the 10-yard line. Phillips now from the shotgun. Has time, steps up into the pocket, throws, has a man wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Brazoswood on the opening drive. Braylon Burby, he's had a couple opportunities. They weren't able to connect in the first half, but they finally do here. And Burby's got the Buccaneers on the scoreboard.
Oh, man, you like to see him get that stop right there. You know, you got the 3 receivers over there, and there's a lot going on in the end zone. Guys going different ways, and then he's scrambling, looking for somebody, and you got to stick at some point where people are running across your face. You got to stick, and he got loose, nobody on him.
Parker Kirsch coming on for the extra point. Gets it down, it's blocked. And recovered by Deer Park, so the score going to stay at 23-6. Didn't see who got a hand on it, but a good jump off the edge by Deer Park to block that extra point. For Brazoswood, had just 30 yards of offense in that whole first half. They go 70 on that drive. See Burby just able to get wide open.
You never had these?
I have not.
Neurogum. They were on Shark Tank.
Ah.
Big fan. Holds its flavor. They're not paying me.
This broadcast brought to you by Neurogum. So a couple big runs by Julian Diaz on that drive. Got the Bucks knocking on the door and able to bounce back after a couple of negative plays. Buccaneers find the end zone. High pooch kick. Fair catch going to be made by Deer Park at the 33. Zuniga gets underneath it. Well, like we said, offense for Deer Park moved the ball well in that first half. Had to settle for field goals a few too many times, I'm sure, than what Coach Flynn would like. Like to see those drives capped off with a touchdown. But the running game has certainly been there. And really, it seems like the drives that have stalled out is when they've leaned heavy into the passing attack.
Yeah, that's certainly been the case. And when you're running it well, you might as well keep running it. You know what I mean? That's one of the things Brazoswood realized coming out of halftime. The one play that was working for them, let's go back to it and do it a lot.
Aston Jackson in motion. Handed off, though. Trace Yates met at the line of scrimmage. Tries to find a little bit of running room and does. Great job by Yates. Keeping the feet moving, keeping his eyes downfield.
Yeah, I mean, it's really one of my favorite plays is, you know, you get a jet motion and you either have the quarterback run counter or you have the back in the backfield run counter. Yates almost gets kind of backside with it, but he's able to get his head up and then turn those feet and still make some good yardage on it.
Breaking through tackles, he picks up 8 on first down and some movement up front.
Ball start. 70, offense. 5-yard penalty, no second down.
Fifth called penalty on Deer Park tonight. Second down at 7 after they mark it off. Aston Jackson motions across, lined up next to John Arthur French, top of your screen. Just going to try and dump it off to Yates out of the backfield, but batted down at the line of scrimmage. Second time Brazoswood has been able to knock down a pass before Deer Park could get going.
Yeah, sometimes when you get your eyes one way right off the bat, kind of starts giving those D linemen an idea where you're going with the ball. If you can either get it out quicker or wait a second before you whip your eyes over there, might help them out a little bit. Or, you know, your offensive line, make sure you put that guy on his rear.
Snap nearly got away from LaFrance, setting up another screen for Yates. Gets by one defender, breaking through another one, lost the football. Brazoswood able to jump on it, just what the Buccaneers needed. An early turnover here to start the third.
Oh no, that is not the way you want to come out the half. Deer Park offense coughed the ball up. I thought it was a great job by Yates of getting back in there with his blockers and getting up the field, churning his feet. He just, as he's going to finish the run, coughs it up. Kind of punched out maybe from behind there.
Like Angel, the safety, number 23. He's been active tonight, comes away with the fumble recovery, and now the Buccaneers coming off that scoring drive. Quickly back to it, starting this drive at midfield. Handed off to Diaz, met at the line of scrimmage, and keeps his feet moving before finally maroon jerseys stop his forward progress.
One of the things I hope they talked about over there on the sideline are these outside linebackers that line up pretty wide, and that's how they're coached up to do it. They got to be ready to fold pretty quick on that that running play that they're running power with one back and or just kind of like a pin and pull type of move. They got to be ready to fold and get in on the action.
Movement up front, free play, handed off to Diaz. Not going to get much, but the penalty will certainly aid the Buccaneers with an extra 5. Through the first 7 games, Deer Park had not lost a fumble. They've lost 2 tonight.
Offside, defense, number 97, 5-yard penalty, go first down.
Brody Bailey called for the offsides there. Makes it 2nd and short. Now the way this second half has started, that's given a lot more confidence to this Buccaneers team. Phillips takes the snap, handed off to Diaz again. Deer Park defense is swarming, stops him after a short gain, gets close to the 40. Should be enough for a Buccaneers first down, and it is.
They just run zone right there, and you know the way they're zoning towards our guy Lex out there, and he does a good job of kind of near footing and being in on the tackle. Just like to see him be downhill a little bit faster to get in there and maybe stop him.
Strother in motion. Phillips rolls right, design quarterback run, takes a big hit at the 40.
Great.
Looked like Lopez coming down the line.
I was about to say, that's great pursuit by Eddie Lopez. Just screaming down the line and hoping the quarterback turns up so he can lay a wall up, and he did a good job right there.
It's a long way to run for your defensive tackle.
And he's a big old boy.
So just a 1-yard gain on the long run by Phillips as he was trying to find running
This is
room.
what they like to do it out of. Doubles, spreading them out. There you go. Get up in there a little bit tighter.
Deer Park rolls. A few more guys in the box come with a blitz. Diaz, though, breaks through, second level, and take it down from behind. Lex with a touchdown saving tackle, perhaps, but they ran right at the blitz and got by it.
I don't like them coming off the edge like that quite as much with the outside linebacker. They moved him down closer to the line of scrimmage, but this is an A-gap run, and if he just folds, you know, your inside linebacker is getting up close to the line of scrimmage right at the snap.
Quick throw, right side, pass complete, inside the 20.
So your inside linebacker's walking up on that. They're going doubles, and he's getting up right at the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped, and he's hoping to kind of beat that pool. But I mean, if he goes backside to the other A gap, there's no, you know, there's really no one there. And then you got your outside linebacker coming off the edge, and if he's A gap run, there ain't nobody in the middle of the field. So one of the things I would do is I would tell those outside linebackers to start folding on that a little bit more.
2nd and 7. Deer Park comes with pressure off the edge. Jaden Moore coming in from that cornerback spot. Got ahead of steam. Got in on the stop. Lopez there in the middle as well. Brings up 3rd down.
Well, you see they're playing it a little bit different now. They've got 25 who kind of plays that hybrid safety outside linebacker role, Emmanuel De La Cruz, and they're lining him up right in the middle of the field now rather than out there in the, well, now he's walking back out. But I'd like to see him kind of be more.
4 wide receivers, 2 to each side for Phillips here on 3rd down. Looks left, loads up, pocket collapsing. Going to run out of room. Bailey is there and brings him down well shy of the line to gain for the 1st down.
Good job by the D-line right there, making sure they have contained.
4th and 5, offense staying out there. Brazoswood trying to capitalize on the turnover by Deer Park. And now Coach Luster thought about it, now going to send out his field goal unit. Play clock inside of 10 seconds though there. Might have to burn a timeout here. Well, they're trying to go quickly. Diaz, the running back, gets the snap. Hold is down. Kick is on the way. And no good. Missed it wide left, and you got to wonder if the pace and how quick they had to go with that field goal unit might have cost them 3 points there.
Yeah, and you know, maybe the blocked field goal from earlier or the blocked extra point from earlier had a little bit in the kicker's head where he kind of pulls it away from where that block occurred.
Yeah.
You know, you never really know, but you hope you give your kids the best chance to be successful at it, not get them out there too late, like you said. Man, he
wide left, didn't miss by much.
He had a boot too, didn't he? That was
into the wind. So no harm after the fumble by Yates on the last drive, and Deer Park with an opportunity to go back out and extend the lead. Taking over at their own 20 following the missed field goal. They keep it on the ground. Yates along the right side patiently finds a hole and gets up ahead to the 25. Brazoswood thinks they recovered another fumble. Official quick to run in and say 2nd down though. Or no. Brazoswood, the whole bench thinks that they've recovered a fumble. Coaches, players, they were all jumping up and down.
Yeah, ref did a good job getting over there and letting them know he was already called down. But man, you better hold on to that ball.
2nd and 5.
Hand it to the referee.
Zuniga comes in. He'll get the carry here. Trying to find the hole along the left side. Makes his cut. Good run by Zuniga. Look at him power through up ahead to the 37.
That was cool. They ran power and ended up bouncing, and it looked like it was almost on purpose where the pulling guard comes around and seals instead of leading up inside, and it bounces out, and he gets a good block on the outside too by his receiver. That's Action Jackson just working on the inside there and making a good block. Good job by multiple guys on that play, and it shows.
12 yards there. Little misdirection back to Zuniga up the middle this time. Tries to shrug off one tackler before being stopped. Forward progress at the 41.
That's still one of my favorite plays right there. The jet motion, where, I mean, they've showed the outside zone kind of look with that already a couple times, and now they've come back to the counter off of it, handing it off to the running back, and it just sometimes makes those linebackers a little bit slower to be downhill on the pulls and everything.
Revolving door in the backfield here in the third. Gamez comes on for the first time this half. Brazoswood shows blitz. Instead, Deer Park throws. Curl route far side of the field for John Arthur French is complete. About a yard shy of the first down marker, though.
I like the way they're using that kind of pop flat pass where, you know, they're kind of riding the running back, hopefully tightening down those outside linebackers to open up that window to throw that throw. And really like the way they're using that this game.
Third down, yard to go. Gamez, we've seen him a lot in these short yardage situations because he's able to get downhill quickly. See if he does here on 3rd and 1. He does. Trying to get a push from his offensive line. Don't know if he got there, though. Looks like Gamez came up about a half-yard shy.
Yeah, they got a little bit of a penetration. I feel like the you know, that zone, when you're running that, you're kind of looking for press it until you cut it back, but he had to cut it back real early because of that penetration.
4th and short, offense staying out there. Both Yates and Zuniga come on, and they will line up in the backfield. Hand it off. Yates lost the football again. Picked up on the run. Brazoswood taking it back the other way. Angel, second fumble recovered. This one goes for the scoop and score.
Well, they were bringing a lot of guys right there, and, you know, always dangerous when you're going for it on your own side of the field. And he never actually secured the ball from the handoff. And, you know, that wasn't all Yates right there as much as you like to think it. It was a lot of stuff. Guys in the backfield, the ball was never actually secured. But, man, you just, other than the first drive coming out of the half, your defense has done a good job. I don't see the reason to go for it right there.
Yeah, I guess just with how successful you've been running the ball, they figured they could get that half yard on 4th down. And trying to see what all the confusion here is for the extra point. And Buccaneers going to have to burn their first time out of the half here on the extra point attempt.
Yeah, they're going to go for 2 here and want to make sure they're in a good play, I guess.
Yates, second lost fumble tonight. This one, Buccaneers able to take advantage.
Of course, I don't know that I would go for 2 really right here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how you make it a 10-point game if you just kick an extra point.
What a game Angel, the safety, has had tonight. He's been all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys for Brazoswood. You can tell he's a football player. That's why, I mean, I know they're all out there playing football, but he's kind of the savvy, football smart. You just you can tell by the way he moves out there, the way he kind of reads the blocks in front of him and fits off of it. Everything you want to see in a safety, and he's always around the ball, man. That's number one thing.
The scoop and score. Brazoswood hanging around here in the 3rd.
I tell you what, you make them pay right here by not getting a 2-point conversion.
So Phillips from the shotgun. Diaz to his left. Going to throw for it. Phillips under pressure. Hit as he's thrown. Ball flutters into the end zone, incomplete.
Yeah.
Looked like Benavidez providing the pressure there.
Both sides kind of having a what are you thinking moment, maybe from the coach's perspective. I just, you know, statistically going for it on 4th down, you got all the data people will tell you that's it's not that big of a deal. But I don't, in your own end, with your defense is actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit not happy with that call, but certainly don't see why you would go for 2 in that situation when you can make it a 10-point game with an extra point.
Yeah, not really understanding the thinking there by Coach Luster, but 23-12, Deer Park maintaining that lead, but a couple of touchdowns here in the third have made it a lot more interesting after Deer Park had a 23-0 lead at halftime. See if Deer Park can get a spark here. Backpedaling, it'll fall. Zuniga didn't get it, and Deer Park, living dangerously, finally recovers it at the 30. I think Zuniga thought that was going to go out of bounds, but just took a hop straight into the air.
Oh man, that was one of them. I mean, that was a great placement on the kick, and I don't think Zuniga was necessarily wrong, thinking it's going over my head. There's people behind me should be running up to come take this thing also.
Yeah.
But man, it takes a Brazoswood bounce, almost lands right in their hands. But good job. Wait, I think that was Zuniga that ended up jumping on it, wasn't it? Who was it? Oh, okay. That was Trace Calhoun doing a good job jumping on the ball there.
1st and 10 at the 30. Back to work offensively. Going back to that running game. And Legend Luster coming off the edge, jumping on top of that pile. And Zuniga picks up a couple. Short gain on the play. Hilton get a breather. Coming up on a minute to go here in the third.
Everything they're doing, they still lose.
LaFrentz takes the snap. 3-man rush by Brazoswood under pressure. Keeps his eyes downfield. He'll just go down. Maybe a yard or so on the run.
We've seen a little bit more of a kind of a more patient style by LaFrentz. When he does start moving, his eyes are downfield. He's really not looking to run. I thought when he initially kind of pulled it down and started working in the pocket, if he just takes off running like we've seen earlier in the season, maybe gets a few more yards. But I actually like the patience by him keeping his eyes downfield and then getting down, not taking a big shot.
3rd down at 6. LaFrentz looking right. Gambas stays in the block all kinds of time. Sidearmed it, trying to connect with John Arthur French along the sideline. Too tall for him, and it goes incomplete. Deer Park going to go 3 and out.
Man, I don't know. Not sure where his eyes were going there. Both of the outside receivers kind of ran the same route, and I think if you're looking at one of them right when they're making the break, Schroeder was wide open, and John Arthur French was actually open right when he made the break, but it kind of just held on to it and made a late throw. I'd like to see that a little bit better timing. It's a timing route, right, where they're making a break at the sticks and coming back to the ball. 1, 2, 3, step into it.
Mason Hill on a punt for the first time tonight. Gets it away after the low snap and takes a little bit of a Deer Park roll inside the 40. Still rolling inside the 35, and that ends the third quarter. Deer Park wants to forget about this 12-minute stretch.
Without a doubt, this might be the weakest third quarter we've seen from the Deer all season long. When traditionally they've come out in the third quarter, has probably been their best.
It's got the coaches for Brazoswood fired up in the box next to us. We head to the final 12 minutes. Brazoswood hanging around. 23-12. We head to the fourth. You're watching Deer Park football on the Deer Network. Open up the fourth here from Hampshire Stadium. Brazoswood with it. 1st and 10 from their own 34. Diaz gets the call, and there's that Deer Park defense getting the penetration and blowing that one up.
Good job by the D-line there. They tried to do their favorite play that they've had some good success with.
Diaz over 100 yards tonight. Seth Green, number 93, the one splitting through that offensive line, blowing that one up. Loss of 6. 2nd down and long. Jaden Moore comes on the blitz, now backs out of it. Pass complete. The hash marks. Aragine Retta, the linebacker, making the good open field stop. 3rd down and about 8 to go. Buccaneers trying to line up quickly. Phillips just 3 of 10 through the air tonight. Phillips rolls right, plants his feet, fires, sideline, nearly intercepted and should have been. Bryce Medley had a great break on it.
Man, that's one of the things. You go to the short side of the field on one of those breaking routes, and you know, corner, safety, everybody kind of knows where you're potentially going to be breaking on it. You throw that thing anywhere behind the guy. Oh! Should have been running up the sideline the other way.
Medley nearly had his 2nd interception of the night.
Well, we used to joke around and say that's why those guys don't play receiver.
Of course. Of course. Anna Schroeder back at his own 31, waiting on the punt. Deer Park brings pressure, but a good-looking kick. Schroeder backpedaling, going to let this one go, and it's going to get a few more yards in Brazoswood's favor as it rolls down inside the 20.
And then all the secondary guys used to say to the receivers, well, you don't want to play defense because you don't want to hit.
Well, I watched Deion Sanders play defense. He didn't really want to hit either, so.
Yeah. I'm talking about probably the best DB to ever play.
Well, I know. He wasn't interested in the tackling part
He
of
was
that.
an ankle biter for sure, but man, you talk about some guy that couldn't throw on very much.
Deer Park with a long field as they start this one at their own 18. Yates back to it. Sidesteps a man, spinning off tacklers, running angry up to the 30. Trying to put those 2 lost fumbles out of his head.
Sure did, and he kind of had the ball out wide in a chicken wing for a second, getting over a guy, but then once he took more than one contact, I saw him wrap it up with both hands.
Picks up the 1st down. Deer Park would love a long sustained drive, ended with a touchdown here. Ball at their own 31. Yates stays in. Keep it on the ground. Starts up the middle. Finds a hole on the left side. Yates lunges forward into a defender and picking up another Deer Park 1st down.
Yeah, mixing up zone and gap scheme running here, and right there on zone, he's able to just kind of find a hole to shoot up into, and then finishes north and south.
11 yards there by Yates. Ball now at the Deer Park 42. Back to it. Yates again starts up the middle, goes left, finds another good hole along the left side for a pickup of 4.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the wrinkles off that play right there is the one where the quarterback pulls it out and runs, because of the way that Luster's been coming off the edge right there, kind of unblocked. They're hoping that that quarterback's going to hold him just enough so that the running back can get by him. The zone read look. Pretty soon you call actual zone read, let him pull him if he's coming downhill too fast.
2nd and 6. LaFrenz starts rolling right, goes back left, running all over the place. Nobody working back towards the quarterback, just basically a 2-man route with John Arthur French and Schroeder deep downfield, and LaFrenz just has to throw it away.
smart play for him to just throw it away and not try and throw up a prayer right there.
Actually surprised he rolled back towards his right after getting by the initial man there after rolling away from it. Third down. Deer Park trying to keep this clock going, trying to convert here on third down. Loads up. John Arthur French was open, deflected, and intercepted.
Oh, man.
Off the hands of John Arthur French and right into the hands of Ethan Henry, the linebacker.
Kind of a, we used to call that look in, where you'd run kind of a route to blow the top off of it, or lid, and then we'd run a guy right underneath on like a dig or a slant. And it's just kind of a little bit of a hard to handle ball up high and tips off his hands, and then right into the waiting hands of Brazoswood linebacker Ethan Henry, it looks like.
Third turnover of the half by Deer Park.
Well, you're definitely not going to win close games when you're losing the turnover battle.
Phillips rolls before handed off to Diaz on the delayed draw. Takes a big hit at midfield, but nice hard run. De La Cruz was there to meet him at the 50.
Yeah, and again, that yeah, that looked like Jaden Moore again, kind of folding in, making the initial contact from the corner position.
Ball at the midfield stripe, 2nd and 6. Phillips tries the count, but instead his own offensive line gets the early jump. Chase Bullard called for the false start. Coming up on 8 minutes to go. Buccaneers trying to take advantage of another Deer Park turnover. Phillips looks right, loads up, goes deep downfield inside the 25. Contact, but a late flag comes in. Going to be called on Gladney, it looks like, as he was once again going one-on-one with Straw there deep downfield.
This is one area of the secondary in their game that has really struggled, and it's just kind of that one-on-one coverage on the corners where you got some younger guys doing it, and they're face guarding, staring at the receiver, and have no clue where the ball is, so they're flying blind out there, you know. And
it's almost like you're better off throwing an underthrown ball
every time. And I mean, I would.
Keeps the drive going. Ball at the Deer Park 40. Phillips trying to set up a screen. Diaz with blockers out in front. And great pursuit by this Deer Park defense to hold them to a short gain.
Yeah, Trace Calhoun looked like he was kind of cutting through some traffic there and really stopped it from being a much bigger play. They've set up a couple of those screen plays and some space.
Calhoun reading it. Great job by the sophomore linebacker. Going loading up again. Has a man open downfield, slips, and incomplete. Burby was, again, had tons of space deep downfield. Kyler Ferris trying to come over the top.
Yeah, one of the few times we've seen them kind of switch up the coverage with the corners there. Well, not a few times. They've done it more tonight where they've been sitting the corners a little bit, letting the safeties try and get over the top. That time they try and take a shot. Ferris is hustling to get over there. And
third down and 6. Ball at Deer Park 36. Deer Park comes with a blitz. Diaz gets by it, goes up the gut and takes it to the 30. Should be enough for a Brazoswood first down. Depending on the spot, it seems awfully close. And now they're going to give them that little extra half yard that they needed for a first down.
Oh, man. My guy, Eddie, he's pretty winded out there right now. He's taking on a double team. And, you know, those D linemen are the ones you really want to see getting rotated quite a bit. And he was looking pretty gassed there in the middle, not able to get off a block. And
new set of downs at the 30. Now they shift. Diaz motions back into the backfield. Phillips to throw. Starts right, rolls back left, has a man wide open inside the 20 and take it down inside the 15. They were able to leak out the tight end, Nunez.
Yeah, they do a couple of nice shifts, and they kind of have the flow going the other way, and he leaks out backside, and they've done some nice things with screens and misdirection, leaking guys out on the backside off of flow, and it's really got to be make sure you're disciplined, know with all the shifts who's got who and who's responsible for what area of the ball, what area of the field. I apologize.
Brazoswood now in the red zone, 1st and 10 at the Deer Park 13. Buccaneers once trailed 23-0, trying to cut once again into that hole. Keeper by Phillips gets a great block, goes to the outside. Phillips into the end zone, touchdown.
That's basically load option with no pitch man, where you got a guy leading up there and he takes it himself. I thought maybe they were kind of grabbing on to Bryce Medley and not allowing him to get off the block, but you can't count on the refs to help you out. You got to be able to make stops.
Extra point up and good, and it is a 4-point game. Brazoswood has battled back 19 unanswered here in the second half.
Man, just when I thought we were going to get a game with 4 quarters of pretty good execution, second half rolls around where it's typically been in Deer Park's favor, and they are falling on their face at the moment.
Well, the offensive adjustments at halftime have been huge. Like we said, starting the third quarter, this was a Buccaneers offense that had only 30 yards of offense in the whole first half. They got 150.
Well, you get the defense on the sideline, and you just make sure we go over with the linebackers. Who's responsible for the back out of the backfield? Do not immediately drop if you're responsible for the back. When it looks like he's going into pass protection, he might be getting ready to shoot out onto a screen, so you need to have your eyes on that back first. That's your responsibility in pass protection. And then you can help.
This ball dies at about the 25. Schroeder trying to find it, and it's going to maybe roll out of bounds. Deer Park finally able to jump on it, and Deer Park just as a whole seems completely rattled.
Man alive, they have found a gap, and Deer Park's return game is not adjusted right now to kind of these shots that they're doing with the kickoff team.
Another long field, starting at the 16 this time for Deer Park. Schroeder was unable to field it clean. The kickoff coverage unit was bearing down. Couldn't wait for that ball that was looking like it was going to roll out of bounds. Deer Park was just running out of time, had to jump on it. 1st and 10 from their own 16. The Friends with Yates in the backfield. Aston Jackson in motion. Oh, Yates runs into Aston Jackson, but still powers ahead. And Yates going to get near the first down line, and he does.
You know, you look at the things they've had a lot of success with running the ball. Right there they do zone. They leave Lloyd on the front side of zone that time, just kind of blocking out easily. But I would look for them bringing him back across the formation, bend it back for his kick out block. Had a lot of success with that in the first half.
Yates closing in on 100 yards on the night. 1st and 10. Another option look. Yates again patiently up the middle. Good steady run up ahead to the 32 for a gain of 6.
So that's exactly what I was talking about. They pull Lloyd back across the formation. I'm telling you what, he's doing a great job. He picks up the first threat off the end of the line, but you still have Luster coming off right outside of that, and he's able to get on the kind of get on the back of the running back, or there might be a bigger gain. That's where you maybe threaten the quarterback to pull one out in a second.
Yeah, we saw the game start with a long run by Hayden LaFrenz, but since then, not much on the ground for the sophomore quarterback. 2nd and 4. They go back to Yates. Yates bounces it, picks up the first down and more. Yates crosses midfield, powers his way down inside the 40.
Good job by him. I mean, they got some penetration with their D-line, but he's able to bounce it back the other way. 78 there penetrated immediately, and he just bounces it the other way, and the guys got sucked in, and then he doesn't run out of bounds. He keeps it in play, keeps the clock running.
To the Brazoswood 38. Yates now 124 yards on the ground. Gamez gets the call, gets a little push from his offensive line. Picks up about 4.
I think you might start getting a clue on when Gamez comes into the game, they run power football. If I was a defensive coordinator for one of these teams, I might be like, hey, look, you just get a pull call. You guys are going with pulls. Everybody's downhill because this cat runs power, and he goes downhill with it. He's not a guy that's going to bounce it out. He's going to follow his blockers. Good, nice run, picks up chunk yardage.
Stays in there for 2nd down. Inside of 4 minutes to go. Brazoswood shows pressure off the edge, goes to Gamez, turns the corner. Gamez cuts it back, now gives a shimmy move at about the 20 and stays in bounds. They're going to mark him at about the 21 officially, but a good looking run there as he goes for 14.
Well, they just made me a liar because right there they go back to zone and he ends up bouncing it front side and picks up the first down. I love that.
Actually gets just inside the 20. Hugo Gonzalez checks in, offset back. Gonna lead the way for Gamez. He goes left, finds a hole, gets upfield, gets what he can, and down to about the 15.
Kind of an ISO look with the lead back, trying to get up on a linebacker, and thought for a second he was going to try and go lateral, and he was like, wait. My name's Christian Gamez. I go downhill, and he got vertical again.
He's like, I got to hit that hole where my fullback just went through.
Right.
And this drive, just what Deer Park needed, but they need a few more to cap it off with points. 2nd and 6 of the 15. Both tight ends shift over to the right side. Gamez, 3rd straight carry, big hole along the left side. He powers his way for a first down. And look at the pile moving inside the 5, inside the 3, inside the end zone. Touchdown, Deer Park. Tough run. Gamez, aided by his offensive line, caps off the drive with a touchdown.
No joke. The offensive line came soaring up behind him. I want to make sure we give those guys some love because it looked like a couple of those guys met him right there when he initially got stopped and then kept it going.
Ten-point game. Garcia Mutade trying to make it an 11-point game. And he does. His perfect night continues.
That is crazy that just happened.
Yeah,
they just kicked an extra point with missing a wing guy on the left side.
There you see the touchdown run.
Yeah,
who
is that right there?
The 10.
Starts off with him, 76?
76.
Yeah, man, that was a good job by Jose. He said, I'm gonna help you get this. But I'll tell you what was really crazy is they just kicked an extra point with 10 guys, and one of the guys missing was your wing dude. If you just block from the other side, bring anybody from that side, that thing is getting blocked without a doubt. Missed opportunity for Brazoswood on the extra point to keep it a 10-point game.
Just what the Deer Park offense needed after turning it over 3 of the last 4 drives. High kick. Feel it at the 10. Starts right. Trying to get by the first wave, does, stays on his feet, weaving his way, tries to bounce it. Good job by Sykes to not allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Tackled shy of the 35.
You're exactly right. That was a good job by Sykes. I could see him thinking about getting sucked back inside. And he's like, oh, I'm contained, I'm contained. He stayed outside, made sure he kept contained and waited for the cavalry to show up.
Well, desperation time now for Brazoswood. After scoring 19 unanswered, Deer Park finally gets their first points of this second half when they needed it the most.
Really don't appreciate Deer Park making these games what I'm not expecting, you know?
See what Phillips and company can do. 2 minutes and 2 timeouts to work with. Phillips has time, goes up the seam for his his running back rather, complete to Diaz, who quickly gets the Buccaneers into Deer Park territory.
Who has the back out of the backfield?
So a new running back in there, number
You're
28, Denzel Jackson on the reception.
I'll tell you what, if he's gonna slip out, he should be getting some contact by somebody way before that. That time they just sent him right up the gut.
Dela Cruz finally able to bring down Jackson. But the reception to the sophomore goes for 20 yards. 2-minute timeout. Give you an update from around. Falls has opened up a sizable lead on Clearbrook, 56-21, after the Wolverines were hanging around for quite a while in that one. Dickinson up 23-12 on Clear Springs. Clear Creek 13-0 lead over Clear Lake, and the non-district game that we've been keeping an eye on, North Shore and Atascocita. Mustangs in control there, up 40-21 on Atascocita. Back here at Abshire, though, Deer Park trying to shut the door on Brazoswood. Final 2 minutes to go. Phillips under pressure, pocket collapsing. He's going to go down back at the 45. 3 maroon jerseys in on the stop. Benavidez might have made first contact, but he, along with Thomas Johnson and Bailey, all around the quarterback there. Benavidez got there first.
Yeah, he kind of did a little bit of a scorpion when he lunged at him, and lower back maybe tweaked a bit.
The promise of Sandjack Scholarship makes college without debt possible. Tuition and books for high school graduates living in the San Jacinto College District are covered.
What a year Benavidez has had from that defensive end position. The junior.
Thank you, Deer Park.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone you really hope's able to.
Entrusting us for the past 2 years. We are still here for you. And will always be right around the corner.
Man,
Okay, so take this right.
really hoping he's okay.
Pull into that parking space.
Like he might be in some
Push the car on park.
significant pain or.
Really, thanks so much. It's my lunch break.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauce and toss Wingstop with Flavor Gifts Wings.
Order now at Wingstop in Deer Park, 7730 Spencer Highway.
There we go.
Good to see him sitting up. And an awkward fall, and kind of see him clutching at his lower back there.
Yeah. Needs to get into a little bit more yoga, maybe. Good stretching.
But yeah, what a season that junior has had. Had himself an interception last week in the win over Clear Lake.
He's been a real bright spot on that D-line, especially when he gets to go get after the quarterback. Just like he did right there. It's just kind of an awkward fall, like you said, where he's kind of leaving his feet, grabbing onto the quarterback, but it looked like maybe he kind of arched him a little bit unexpectedly.
Loss of 8 on the sack. Empty backfield. Noah Phillips with a deep drop. Just going to go deep downfield. Deer Park trying to get the pick, and they do. Bryce Medley bringing it back the other way. His second interception tonight. Doesn't drop this one. His team leading 4th interception of the season, and a good return. Takes it back to about the Deer Park 34.
It's a great job undercutting it at the last second. He's just kind of running with it. Knows he has help on the inside. In the last minute, he just jumps in and undercuts the route, and it's all his.
Medley also had 2 picks in the win over Barbers Hill in that final non-district game.
I think we might get a they might have got Medley for the spike at the end. Kind of threw the ball down maybe a little too hard. Not quite sure. We didn't hear.
So minute 33, Deer Park just a couple successful plays from being able to run out the rest of this clock. But the penalty essentially negates the return, so ball going to be spotted back at the 28. Gamez in at running back to open up this drive for the final minute 33. Brazoswood comes with a blitz up the middle. Gamez sidesteps it. Gamez with a nice run and falls forward to the 33. 5-yard gain. And Brazoswood forced to burn their second timeout. Is this another dance cam, or is this just music? You know, a little bit of both, I guess. On a pink out night here at Abshire. No, Brazoswood band trying to overpower Usher. No. Don't love that. Come on, Brazoswood. Second down and 5. Minute 25 to go. Back for Gamez. Going to try and turn the corner. Great run. Picks up the first down. Up ahead to the 45. And that should do it. And Legend Luster getting into it with one of the offensive linemen downfield. Lost the helmet. Lozano for Deer Park. Getting tied up with Luster. He's been very active from that outside linebacker spot.
Well, he was nowhere near the play that time because he was
way downfield.
Getting pushed way back.
Play clock at 10. Deer Park victory formation. And the Friends will take a knee. Under a minute to go. One final snap should do it. And Deer Park able to weather the storm in that third quarter. Brazoswood came out swinging to open up the second half. Deer Park able to come up with a clutch drive when they needed it. Deer Park taking every final second off of this one. And the Friends takes the knee, and Deer Park gonna survive with a win over Brazoswood, 30-19.
You know, I hate that word survive whenever it's, I just, when it's a game you feel like it should have been over way earlier and not this close. To use the word survive is just kicking the pants, man. I don't, but the only thing that matters are the wins and losses, and right there you get a win.
You see the scoring plays throughout the night. The touchdown throw to Schroeder. He finished the night with 5 catches for 53 yards. The Friends through the air, 14 of 24, 157. Touchdown and a pick. Gamez, this was the one that iced it.
Yeah, getting the big boys to help him out.
And Gamez never even left his feet.
No.
But Deer Park comes up with some clutch plays in the fourth, and they knock off and beat Brazoswood 30-19. Coming up next week on Halloween night, on the road, Challenger Stadium, and good matchup between Deer Park and Clear Springs.
Are you still dressing up, or?
We hadn't coordinated what costumes we were going to wear yet, right?
Well, I thought you were going to be Woody. I'll be Buzz.
Okay. I don't know if they'll let us into Challenger Stadium dressed like that. But if you can't make it out there, you can also always listen to the audio broadcast that we'll have for you on the Deer Network. Final 2 games of the regular season coming up. One final road game at Challenger on Halloween, taking on Clear Springs, and finish out the regular season at home here against Dickinson. But Deer Park stays perfect in district. They move to 5-0 in district play. 6-2 overall, riding that 6-game winning streak with a win tonight over Brazoswood, 30-19. We will see you next week on the road versus Clear Springs, Challenger Stadium. Until then, have a great week. We'll see you then.